welcome to another episode of the Spiritual Playboy. This time I am back in Glastonbury, England for a 1-week immersion with Bruce Lyon and some other people from the Ista tribe. And we are here to dive deep into the mysteries of Avalon, Camelot, and the love triangle between Guinevere, King Arthur, and Lancelot, and the fact that, this love triangle was actually the fall of Camelot. So we are 24 souls that have come together and basically 1 kilometer from the tour here in Glastonbury on a beautiful farm called Paddington Farm. And we will be diving deep into the esoteric mysteries of this land, the myth, and how we are going to contribute to that on this land. So we're headed to the Abbey, which we've seen before. So the cedar behind me is a cedar from Lebanon. And the house behind me is a house that belonged to, it's like a gentleman's home, and is positioned right in front of the Abbey. What have you discovered? This is where I think Guinevere is buried. You know this, right?
It is feeling like
she's there. Experiencing anything here?
Yeah, I think that actually Arthur and Guinevere, they're cool. I mean, Arthur and Lancelot and Guinevere, they're cool with each other.
Yeah.
Actually, Arthur really enjoyed seeing Guinevere when she came back from Lancelot. She was juicy and happy, and yeah, they were okay. But they couldn't explain it. They just couldn't explain it to the people because the people's mind was not accepting it. So as much as they tried to, just like it was distorted into betrayal story and drama story, and that actually destroyed their heart, that they cannot be understood in their love that is not bound to possession.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's a good one. So today is day 1 of the 1-week immersion into exploring the mysteries of Camelot, Avalon, and the dynamic of love. What is it that limits each of us from group love? So we all know couple love, dyadic love, romantic love, and then there's this bigger calling of coming together as groups, as soul groups that are yearning or longing for group remembering or group purpose or soul purpose within group. And oftentimes, like if we went to the original myth of Knights of the Round Table, it was very masculine, and it looked like each knight serving the honor and integrity of the purpose, and that was serving the center. Today we are exploring updating the myth and not ignoring the interconnections of the beings around the table that are serving the center, and at the center in this group that we're present here is serving love and bringing through wild love, a love that will transform the world. And what we are recognizing is that it's more than just the mission of one to center, but many to center and center outwards, and the interconnection of everybody. So the web of connection, which is feminine. And where we get limited is, or where we blocked, is the idea of the limitation of love, the limitation that love cannot flow in group dynamic due to the individual's ego or story or individuality. And we also explored how to be within a group and maintain one's individuality. Personally, my story is around the wound of not being seen. So how do you enter in group and still have your individuality? That's my attachment. My attachment is to the small me, which is my story and my wound, and therefore me compensating for my wound. And the resistance to group love is the need to surrender. Ohad made a great point, and it's like this idea, the limitation around the limitation is the idea of wanting to be chosen by the beloved, wanting to be seen and chosen, and that idea of being chosen either by a group or by an individual again links to the limitation of love, where we're all coming from a place of service to a higher purpose, that we can have our sovereignty, but our sovereignty is in synergy with the whole group. And in that moment, it's like one person's shadow becomes the group's shadow. And so how do you deal with shadow, individual shadow within the group? And it's the idea that if we are one, that whether it be the weakest link or the person demonstrating shadow, it's how do we adopt that as a group for healing. And the piece we came up with, it's like ruthless dark feedback, but given in a compassionate way that doesn't tear down the individual, because the individual is needed within the group, that no one is left behind. And that seeing our allies in shadow, it's the responsibility of the group to clear it. And we do that through compassionately pointing it out, working together to clear the wound or to bring light to the wound. And so that as we serve each other in healing the wound or going beyond the shadow. We are actually serving love, and we're serving this group love. And so the myth here is that Guinevere, who was King Arthur's wife, fell in love with Lancelot, and that their love was the poison or the toxicity, and that they couldn't reconcile this triangular love, this idea that one can love more than one person, an individual can love more than one person. And the result of being in opposition or resistance to this idea actually brings about the fall of the kingdom. And so how can this triangle actually coexist to bring out the pearls or bring out gold within the kingdom? And yeah, so what we were talking about is like the surrender to the group heart, compassion for the individuals who are living an individual life of sovereignty, yet still have the common goal, will, purpose to serve something bigger. So this is just like the tip of the iceberg of what we are exploring this week. The setting is perfect as we are here at the burial spot of both Arthur and Guinevere. And remember, let love free.